Good morning, bienvenue. Welcome once again to another live stream. This is the Karen Bashford Intuitive Mental Show. Or should we rename it the Sloth or Beaver Appreciation Show? I'm not sure. Sloth or Beaver is an interactive toolkit designed and created by Karen Bashford, really to help people communicate and find their ways back to each other in groups of either one or more, up to a maximum of 6, I believe. Is that right? Okay. Yeah. It involves a board that helps you guide your way through your life. And although it's nominally on 100 steps, you could have more or less steps. Doesn't really matter. The point is that it indicates the movements throughout your life, and a series of cards in decks. And each deck of cards deals with one suite of thoughts or ideas. There are how many decks? I'm going to get this right. 7? No, not 6 decks of cards, and each of them happens to be aligned to a specific chakra point, and more importantly, that they are inside a what's the word? Organza translucent bag, so you can see them within, and of the same color as that chakra. And Karen, my beautiful assistant, will now demonstrate. There we go. There you go. Wonderful. But today's topic is not about them or about the cards, but about listening. No, not as I initially thought, listening to each other talk, listening to your own body and the messages it gives you, which could potentially help you heal yourself from inside out. Karen Bashford, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Nice to be here again.
Oh, wonderful. No, as anybody who actually knows me, because I do talk about Karen quite a lot, possibly annoyingly, and they know that this is an important part of my week, because I often learn stuff, and as Karen, it amuses the hell out of her. At some point I usually stop and go and while she gives me new information. So how does listening to your body help you heal yourself, Karen?
Okay, I'll give you a prime example. I worked with a lady this week who wanted to stop smoking. She's been saying to herself for years, and I've known her 2 years, that I need to stop smoking. She's been in the hospital because she could not breathe. That's how bad it's been. And she kept saying, yes, I will stop, and nothing happened. And then this week it was a case of, I'm going to have to stop. She apparently has now reached the point where if she laid down, she would proceed to cough and not be able to breathe at all, because she'd got so much phlegm built up on her lungs that they couldn't take the oxygen in. So if she tried to sit up, she would have to brace herself, manage to get up when she had enough energy to then be able to stand up, having waited even longer to stand, and have to stand for a bit before she could physically move, because her body just couldn't take enough oxygen in to be able to move in a way that most of us don't think anything about it.
Oh, poor sausage. Oh, that's
horrendous.
In
a state, absolute state. And she knew she had
I
to stop.
would have thought that if you're in that state, it then puts your mind into even a worse position, and it becomes pernicious.
Yeah, precisely. So she'd reached that state where she just said, no, can we just book the time in and let's just do this? So I did. And I just had a conversation with her, and what we ended up doing took 20 minutes. And in those 20 minutes, she not only stopped smoking, she became a non-smoker, she also stopped her fear of spiders.
Wow, 2 for the price of 1. All right, let's work on the smoking.
Absolutely. Okay,
so it to her, but I mean, look, I'm going to be a muggle here, so forgive me. She'd known for a minimum of 2 years, because that's a period of time. But she'd known all that time that she had to do it. What was the switch that enabled her to throw the switch and then say, right, I don't need them?
It wasn't so much she didn't need them. It was a case of, I don't want to die not being able to breathe. That's what really was going on underneath. It was the fact that the more impact the cigarettes had, the less she could do. And she's got grandchildren. She's got a family, lives close by. And
Right.
literally, she couldn't even walk enough to go places with them, because she
Right.
would literally take a few steps and have to stand, catch her breath, take a few more steps. You can't go out with family like that. So she was constantly missing out on going out with family.
Of course.
She couldn't even go across to the local shop. It would probably take her about half an hour to get there. And it's not that far. You could probably walk it in 2 minutes, easy. But for her, it could end up being half an hour. And when she even got into the shop, she couldn't speak for a few minutes while she got her breath back. That's the impact of smoking was having on her life. And she was spending £30 a day.
How many?
30. £30 a day.
That's 3 packets of fags, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Thereabouts.
Oh,
I
God.
admit, I said no, it was 2 packs, because she said they were £15 a pack.
I haven't bought cigarettes for a long time.
I used
to smoke 20 odd years ago, and back
So
then,
did I.
yeah. So back then, you remember, a packet of fags was what, 3 or 4 quid.
Well, the last time I smoked, they were about £5 a pack, and I thought that was disgusting.
Yes. Yes. Well, okay. So she was sucking her wallet dry, and also killing her lungs.
She was killing herself. She was killing herself.
When did this session take place?
Tuesday
Right.
morning.
Have you spoken to her since?
I spoke to her Tuesday afternoon, and literally she'd walked across to the corner shop. She'd arrived there, not out of breath. But the thing that got her most was the fact that after we'd finished the session, I said to her, stand up. And she just stood up without any hesitation at all. No lack of breath, no coughing, no, oh God, this is hard work or anything like that. She literally put her hands on the settee, lifted herself up and stood up. And she had the breath to do that.
Right.
Now, that doesn't mean to say the impact wasn't still there. It's just that by working in a way that we do, she was actually able to tell her body, you can release everything connected to this, and I can breathe.
So now, of course, it's got to be, the body's got to get rid of all that accumulated.
But it will do that naturally, because the body knows what to do when it's given the instructions to how to handle what's really going on. Because if she'd really listened to her body, the fact it was getting worse and worse, her body was continually saying to you, I cannot deal with this anymore. And yet she chose to ignore it, because up here her mind was going, but I don't know what to do if I don't smoke.
So have you given her something alternative to fill that gap?
She just told me what she enjoys doing. So we just replaced what she would do smoking, which is basically just a habit of doing something with your hands.
Right.
She was just going to do more of what she'd do if she wasn't smoking anyway.
Right.
So it's nothing really to replace it. She just chose to accept that she could just do something else. But because she's now got the breath, she can do a lot more. So she can go out with her family more. She can actually go across the shop. She can even get around to decorating her flat, which she's been wanting to do for a very long time.
Well, of course. All right. Well, this then leads me to the other side. What's this 2-for-1 thing you've done? What about the spiders? How does that work?
We quite often create a phobia around something, either because it's passed down through families' reactions, or we had an experience in childhood that caused the phobia.
Certainly.
Unbelievably, people often say, I've got a fear of flying. That's fear of the unknown. If you remove the unknown, there's no fear. So, but fear of spiders, from my impression of her, I would say as a child, she was literally walking somewhere and she walked into a cobweb, because it wasn't just spiders, it was cobwebs. Most people don't care about cobwebs.
Yes, of course
Most
not.
people
Right.
just care about the spider being in the room. But for her, the biggest thing was cobwebs. She could not deal with spiders, but having to deal with cobwebs, which are static, not going anywhere, she couldn't deal with them.
Was that
So that
because
would indicate
she'd
she at
walked into
one
them and
point, yeah,
they'd
she
covered her?
walked
And,
into one. Yeah,
ah,
yeah. So her
right.
reaction is, it's a spider, a spider's web, can't cope with this. As a child, we create so many reactions to things without even thinking about it. And she carried that as, well, she's now, I think, nearly 70.
Right.
So she's carried that since her childhood. And
So
if
what was the
she
process
literally would,
that what was the process you went through that allowed her to release that? And can we wind this back to Sloth or Beaver and how
yes,
working
I'll give
through
you,
Sloth or Beaver will
I'll
help
give
you
you an
release that?
example.
Okay, go for it. Go for it.
Basically, any kind of work you're naturally releasing yourself through the habits you have requires questions. So initially, I just sat with her and asked questions. What would life be like if you weren't smoking? How would you feel? And things like that, which is very much what Sloth or Beaver is all about, is just asking questions and getting you to think about them and
Right.
then giving an answer. And that's all I do is when I work with clients is actually get them to give answers to something that would improve their lives, look at what's not working in their lives, and then choosing to actually release it. And I do it in a way that is very natural. I'm only a guide to enable them to do the releasing. I don't
So you're
actually
getting
tell
them
them
to do
what
the
to
hard
do.
work themselves, really.
Yeah, they're doing, because you're actually understanding why you created these fears or why you created these habits. It works at such a deeper level. Whereas if you just tell somebody it's okay, you're safe, that doesn't give them that information for them to accept it and not go back to the old habits. I
Yes,
know that
because I
she's never
suppose
going to smoke again.
telling them that they're safe, it's just not detailed enough, is it, really?
No, no. I know she will not go back to smoking because now her body is understanding as much as her head that she doesn't need cigarettes because she has realized in her body just how much damage is being done. And she's already experienced the benefit of being a non-smoker. Even within 5 minutes of finishing the session, she experienced the benefit of being a non-smoker. And that's because her body worked with her to actually accept that she doesn't need smoking anymore.
Yes, I think when we do something for so long and it almost becomes imbued in the fabric of our lives that we kind of assume that if we were to unstop at that thing, suddenly we would lose all integrity and our body would collapse because that was holding it all together. But in actual fact, it's not the case at all.
No. And I'll read, this is just one card I picked out, which the way it works is you always end up picking out the card that's very relevant.
Okay, now, which set is this from?
This is the actual health set, the actual health. And the first card that come up, which, as I say, is very relevant for what we're talking about. How are you maintaining your health right now? Are you aware that the way you care for your health today will directly reflect in the quality of your health as you get older? Every small choice matters. What you eat, how you move, how you rest. What is one simple yet powerful thing you can do today to take better care of your physical, mental, or emotional health? Isn't that rather appropriate based on what we're talking about?
Absolutely.
And I didn't look for this. It was literally the first card that appeared on the deck, and they've been shuffled and moved around and God knows what. And that was the very, very first card that come out. And that's how it works. If you have an issue that your body is trying to communicate with you, and it can be something as simple as being in a relationship that's exceedingly toxic, you'll suddenly find yourself potentially feeling nauseous, getting headaches, getting lots and lots of pain because your body is desperately trying to release the toxicity in a way that it knows how. But until you actually allow it to do the releasing, which is not just physically, but emotionally and mentally, you're going to still have the same kind of issues coming up.
Are you saying it's all our fault? We're stopping our body
we're
doing
it. We're responsible for how our body is behaving.
All right.
100%. Most people would not like to hear that, because they look at their lives and think, yeah, really, I created my own illness. But yes, we create our own illness because our bodies are desperately trying to tell us, I can't deal with this. I don't want to deal with this. This is not doing us any good. And when I say us, I mean mind, body. That's us. Because we are mind, body. We're not just mind, we are body as well. And when you have a situation where your body's telling you one thing and your mind's going, yeah, but I don't care about that, even if you're not actually saying that, but your behavior indicates that, your body is just going to keep repeating the same problems until you start listening.
Right. So it's at this point in the podcast, and folks, I'm going to be talking more about Sloth or Beaver and more about how you can find out more for yourself. Well, first things first, let's talk about let's bring up the Sloth there we go. If you're wanting to find your way to Sloth or Beaver because it can really help you, or because you feel that it's a great present to give a person or a family, remember it can work with one person up to 6, then please follow that link. And in fact, just to make it a little bit easier, here's a little QR code in the corner. So grab your phone now, scan the screen, and go and have a visit. It's not going to necessarily revolutionize your life, but what it will do is make you more aware of everything. All the stuff that perhaps you don't always want to talk about, or feel you don't need to talk about, it'll bring to the surface. And sometimes confronting your fears, confronting the stuff that you put in your own path, will help you do better overall. Now, that being said, Karen also is an intuitive therapist, and her focus is on, through conversation, through interaction, that you can find a better way of dealing with your own lives. And the best way of doing that is to go to KarenBashford.com. And you can start a discussion, perhaps initiate your wellness journey from that perspective. Certainly, talking with someone who's completely outside of your own experience, but enables you to reflect on what's really going on inside, will give you insights that you wouldn't have got otherwise. I can absolutely tell you that from experience. But I just want to say thank you so much, Karen. Yet another insightful way in which Sloth or Beaver, in this case, can help you initiate conversations with yourself. And it seems that a lot of the ills that we have are often visited upon ourselves by ourselves. Yep. So if you can initiate that conversation and find out more, you can, as Karen's example, will absolutely realize that the only way to move forward is to stop that negative behavior and initiate the process of the body allowing itself to fix it, because that's the next stage for her, isn't it, Karen? The body's going to then get on with its job of getting rid of Well,
I will have a conversation with her today, but I know for a fact she's going to tell me that she actually slept all of a night time rather than waking up during the night coughing in or whatever.
Yeah, well,
because
her
body is actually aware that it's now able to release what it needs to release. And the fact it could do so within 20 minutes to the point where she wasn't actually coughing at all is very, very relevant. That's how powerful our bodies are when we acknowledge it and give it the right instructions.
And on that note, thank you once again, Karen, and to all of you watching, thank you so much for being with us. Please do take a look at the Sloth or Beaver toolkit. It's the ideal time of year to be thinking about it. It's a run up to, yes, I know it's not Christmas yet, but it's a run up to, I'm getting this all the time. It's a run up to Christmas. This is the time when you should be thinking about intelligent presents that were going to mean something, not just now, but in years to come. We are not, I think, as a community, we need to be done with gifts that are throwaway items, stuff that you look at once. Let's try, stocking fillers are one thing, but big presents that we give to someone, they go, yeah, thank you very much, and put it in the corner, and it never sees the light of day. Try and think for meaningful presents. And I would say the Sloth or Beaver Toolkit is a family's meaningful present that can help them become better at being a wonderful, interconnected family. Until next week, keep your feet on the ground, keep reaching for the stars, and please try and look after that mental health. Goodbye.
Bye.